Howdy folks, Grok the DuckFarmer here, and I'm playing Homestead on the FTOG server, and I'm really glad that I've got this ring road, exterior, whatever it is, this walkway going around my 3x3 interior base area. That's all done, and I like the look, and I borrowed this. Well, I was inspired by this picture I found of an underwater sort of building that is huge. This is a monster build, and I love the detail on it. And there's no way I can cram that into this 3x3. But I am going to be able to take maybe a few of the little architectural details. Like I took these pillars holding up this ring. I took that from I see you. I took that from that picture, sort of. But anyway, so I'm going to do that. Do I have a plan as to how to build this? No, not really. I did make a quick little sketch when I was initially planning this out, drew out a 3x3, and then kind of put in some buildings in there. So it's not super symmetrical. And also kind of scoped out the ring road. It turned out the center two pieces are much bigger than what the end pieces are, but it's okay. I start with something and then things just work better. And why did I hit that key? I have no idea. All right, so what I need to do next is start laying out the framework of where a building needs to go, and probably best to lay out the biggest building first, which then is the question, which way's up? That's up. But which way is north? And do I want to lay this out, east to west, north to south? Does it matter? No, it really doesn't. I just need to figure out someplace where, this is going to be based. And probably looking north. So the big building would be on the southern side of this area. Okay, made a choice. Progress time. Let me show you what I've done up to this point. I should have broken in a little bit earlier, but I didn't. I decided that here, just as this building walkway ends, this would be the beginning of the next building. And so that told me it was 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks away from this outer piece. And so I did the same thing over here. We've got 4 blocks until this outer piece, here. So that gave me the dimensions of the building. And then I decided, first I went down and came to about here, said, yeah, that's pretty good. And then, okay, this is going to go all the way to the bottom, maybe have a large arch in the middle. I don't know. Turns out, oh, and then I put a piece on top because I wanted it to go up. Turns out, ignoring this border here, that's 11, this is 13 tall, and that's 15 tall. I totally didn't plan that, it just happened. And then I decided I needed some walls. And so let's come take a look what I played with here. And I'm looking around, there he is. I saw you on the mini-map, yes I did. Anyway, so what I started with it was the little graphic that I've been playing with, and it's got this nice, flat, gentle sloping roof that I like. And so I started over here, and I had 3 pillars to kind of hold up the wall, and decided it was boring with just the 3. So I made this little feature here, put some little supports on the end, a little bracing, and then for color wise I went with the warped. That looks really good, and it did a little bit of the dark prismarine scattered around. I don't have tons of that, but I've got enough for accenting through here, and I like the depth differences here. So that works. You and your friend Frank here to the side. You, yeah. Oh, yay, free copper. And then as I was kind of wrapping the corner and going, let's try this over here, I decided to do something slightly different. Had the 2 ends and then whatever's in the middle. And this happens to be an odd across, which I like, because that gives me the ability to have a central piece like this. And I decided to kind of bump out this little prismarine light piece, and I'm kind of liking that a little bit better than the flat over here. Yeah, there's a little bit of difference of the texture, but I think I'm going to pull those out so they bump out. Also made a little abstract sort of thing up here with a little bit of texture just to make it more interesting. I need to bring over a lot more of the quartz and finish up the roof. Let's go up here a little. Hi, guy. See ya. I threw down some solid birch block planks. Normally, I would do the slabs because you can get twice as far with them. I've got lots of birch, so that's not a problem. Hi, fishy. How are you doing? But because I want to get rid of all the water in here, and I want a barrier between the water above the roof and this bottom of the roof sort of thing, so that I don't get drips coming down. I heard a gurgle closer than you, and he may be below me. Anyway, so I don't want the drips coming down, so that's why I'm having this additional roof segment here. And what else am I playing with here? I threw down some birch down there just so I have a floor. Not 100% sure. I think because the other base buildings have the birch and ebony, I'll probably do that on the inside and then keep all this prismarine sort of cyan, greeny blue, sea blue stuff going. And I'm not a big fan of how the beacon turns on and off depending on how far away from it you are. Not a big fan of that. I like being able to see the beacon. But so there's the beginning of the first building. I'm not sure what to do with this one, although the way I've been doing it here, this is all prismarine, so I'll probably start doing some just stone brick, bring down a little bit prismarine into it, and bring up some dark slate, deep slate from below. This bottom part definitely would be deep slate, just to kind of match these pillars over here. I'm not sure. It's just the way it goes. I'm just winging it at this point. I have had a rather productive bit of building, and let me show you what we've got here for the big building. And what's day? Day 7945. I wish I could see things faster, but the breathing is great underwater. All right, so this is the top floor, and I've decorated the outside and inside, and I said I wanted a roof on the top, so there's my roof with a little decoration and no water inside. And then I added spiky bits on the top for fun because I could. And the principle I'm going with is using the same sort of color pattern. You know, I can ignore the other guys, but they're annoying from a distance. Anyway, starting with the lighter quartz up high, kind of like this, and then going down into the greens. So we've got the prismarine and the warped and a little bits of tags of the dark prismarine in here. Lots and lots of warped trapdoors and a sprinkling of some stairs that I started making just because that adds a little bit of texture in there, a little bit of depth and differences in color. Anyway, so got that in place, and then we're going to a darker layer here where it's predominantly the warped and the deep dark prismarine. Is there another guy? Nope, I was seeing him. And then also introducing a little bit of the deep slate onto that. And then I've got the beginnings of some feet here where it's the deep slate and the deep slate tiles that are even darker. And again, using these little torches. These prismarine torches, I discovered them recently, and they're easy to make. It's like two of the prismarine shards and one crystal. I've got that in droves at the farm, and they're not great lamps. They're like a light level of 10, but they're very cool looking, and they work underwater, so that works. Hey, stop sneaking up on me. Anyway, so that works with a little bit of texture in there just to make it look kind of interesting. And I did my standard trick of coming around afterwards with my pick and picking out some of these blocks. You cook them and you get cracked, and it's a tiny texture, but I like having that. All right, all of you guys, stop. You especially. All right. So so having fun with that. Now if we come in underneath here. Oh, I cleared out all of the kelp from here. So we take a look. Yeah, that's 2,000 kelp just from this area. So if you need lots of kelp, build yourself a big base in the water and you'll get lots of kelp. Anyway, so down here I've got the inside of the feet, just playing with that, wrapped it around the side and went, yeah, I think that'll work. Reboot time. Got the beginning of the inside of the second layer, and I'm thinking I'll just have two footprints here for holding things up, and I'll see if I can figure out a good graceful arch. I don't know. However, let's go up and take a look at the inside of the top floor, which is dry and decorated. There we go. And so this is what I came up with. I wanted to bring in the birch and the ebony from the other base, and then lots and lots of little texture bits. There's some lights hiding up in there. We got lights underneath here. They got the prismarine lamps all over the place, and just bringing a lot of texture into here. A lot of different colors. Again, with the stairs to sit there and provide that little dark patches for fun. Just putting some textures. The walls are fairly flat, which is why I have these pillars of ebony in here to break those up. Likewise, the trapdoors, that just gives a little bit of a depth to these walls. Otherwise, flat's kind of boring when you're dealing with walls. So I mix them up with textures and depths, whatever I can. Anyway, so this is gonna work out, I think, really nice. I like how this is turning out. I really do. I don't have a way up and down yet. As soon as I dry out the next floor, I'll have to have some ladders, and eventually I'll have maybe an elevator on either side just to go up and down. But that's for future Grok to figure out, because right now, no. I need to take the walls from the second section. Let's go back out and take a look. I need to take the walls from the second section, clear out some more kelp. But I just did the one side and said, yeah, that looks really good. I can easily duplicate that on this side here. And then because these are evens going across and this side is odd, it'll be tweaked just a little bit. But yeah, it should work. Dry this out, have another layer. I will have to do something about these ceiling pieces, possibly just echo the trapdoors here underneath, and then something with these. I don't like having freestanding light lamps like that. But yeah, I mean, and this is a slightly shorter piece, and that will be even shorter still. I have no idea what's going to go in the feet here holding up the building, but it's been fun. Okay, I'm going to get rid of all the kelp. I'm down in what I'm calling the footing, the piece that's holding up the building, and there's two of them. If we look at the map, I'm in this one. There's another one here. I just filled with cobble. I didn't see the need to actually have something like this underneath it. But I do have an elevator, because that makes life so much easier to go up and down. And I just realized I need to get rid of all of these bits here, because I had the water wheel down here, but I changed it. Anyway, let's go up. So yeah, footing, not really sure. This is the warp floor, and I've got it done as far as the interior decorating, echoing a lot of the stuff up above. Just a few little tweaks, like the extra footings here holding up the roof. Just having fun with this large space. What am I going to use it for? I don't know, but it's a large space. And then we got the prismarine floor, which I showed off before. Just because, but there's one part higher up, which is the ocean surface. And I decided it would be so much easier to have over here the water wheels running everything and then going down than sending all that power all the way up from below. So that was the most recent little change, and so I need to tweak that. And I decided to send this one up just a little bit. Let's head into the water. Wee! And the thing I wanted to show off is, yeah, we got this tower here going up, and that seems to work fairly well. This I showed off this before. I showed off this here, but it's now completed all the way around. And then the footings are done, and I did a mixture of. I wanted to have something to kind of curve across to hold that up, and I went into plots and figured out what the size is for something. I think that's like 22 wide and 21 tall, something like that. And then tweaked it with a little bit, and I decided to actually go with stairs just because it has a nice little visual effect on it. And then this is the tiled. Hey, go away. This is the tiled on the outside, and it's just regular polished on the inside. Just a little tiny difference when implanted back some of the kelp. I was going to say sugarcane. No, that's kelp. Went ahead and replanted just a little bit. Now it's there as decoration. It was just so much through here I couldn't see what I was doing. But yeah, had fun setting this up. What are these buildings going to do? Don't really know. One thing I do want to do, and I didn't show it off when I was in that footing, there's a little hole in the corner where I've started to go below, and I think this is Y7, or -7, -8 would be the solid block underneath this, and then I'm gonna clear out a 3x3 chunk area going down. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that because it's gonna be a chunk of work, and eventually I want to bring all the inventory stuff over. I'm just not sure. I might as well just, pull all that stuff out of the ground and put it in the inventory that's in the other building because I'm connected to it. And yeah, eventually the inventory is going to come up here someplace, and this will need to be within 8 blocks of it, so I have a universal access to my inventory, which will be nice. Anyway, so much fun building this underwater and just having fun with some creative details. None of this was anything I planned other than I wanted something fairly big. And then I just kind of went, well, flat is boring. Let's bump things out. Let's have something similar with different colors. And, that's just how the stuff went. Die, you. Oh, you too. You can die as well. Anyway, that's kind of how my brain works when it works. Just I have these ideas, these principles of how I want to build stuff, and then I just let that generate the building. Sort of. Anyway, this has been Grok the Duck Farmer here, playing Homestead on the FTOG server and getting a big beginning of my base underwater built. And I need a couple more B words. Beautiful, fun, belligerent. Ah. And thanks for watching. Bye. Where is he? There he is.